Mindfulness.
Victor, good to see some familiar names.
Very good. Let's make it
Mhm.
official. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. Welcome to Living Well Community, your home for interactive and on-demand wellness programming created and curated for you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is Mind the Moment in Everyday Life. I'm John Roberts. Every week, we take viewer questions exploring how mindfulness can show up for you in the course of your everyday life. I'm here, as I will be from this moment on. Jessica Morey, my friend and yours. Jess, how are you today?
I'm just so delighted to see you, to be here
That's
with you having this
hey,
conversation
wonderful.
and to see so many
You
good
look
people.
very well rested. How was your I hope you got enough sleep last night.
I didn't, but well, you know what? Whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, which happened last night, I listen. I have like a couple go-to meditations that I do, or I listen to the Waking Up app. These recordings of Dharma texts.
Hmm.
And so basically either they put me to sleep or I tell myself, this is so amazing. I just meditated all night long. So
Wow. You're setting the bar pretty high. It's that is much more than I would ever hope to do when I woke up in the middle of the night. Usually I'm just drenched in sweat thinking about the Supreme Court. But here we are. Jess, I thought we'd start with a few more icebreakers. Actually, that was a good one though. I was wondering if you could tell me what you're hoping to accomplish in this series of sessions, which we are now starting.
I am hoping to help people out with whatever's happening in their meditation practice, particularly if people feel like they're not good at meditating or it's not doing anything for them. I really want to support them to find a practice or a way to practice that might actually support them. And I also really want to help us all think about and um, orient to ways that our meditation practice can actually impact our life, like
Oh, yeah.
actually make us our lives better, reduce our suffering, improve our relationships, and yeah, deepen well-being.
That's beautiful. My own for my own part, it's not too far off of that. I'm hoping, to demonstrate, if we can, there is no problem so big or so small that mindfulness can't show up to support us in getting kind of a handle on it, but especially no problem too small, because, I think at this point in history, a lot of people understand that mindfulness can help us with like the big things, stress, emotional pain, physical pain. But I think it's helpful to remind people as well, or helpful for me to remind myself that mindfulness is there for the small stuff too. Like I think about like when you update the operating system on your smartphone, right? And you discover like the developers have like snuck in some functionality you didn't realize was there. Like you turn on the flashlight function and you realize now it has a simulated disco ball feature, right? And that's what I would like to do here, show folks mindfulness is not just there when you need a flashlight, but also when you need a disco ball, even if you don't think you need a disco ball. Mindfulness is there when you most expect it, and even when you least expect it. Does that seem right?
Yeah, John, that's great. I think I like the disco ball metaphor because mindfulness should be a dance party, not just like when you're in pain or you're sitting alone on your meditation cushion.
Right.
So
Do you have a good mindfulness or mindful dance party theme that you like to adhere to?
uh the only theme is like you have to just move basically to be as ridiculous as you possibly can
Huh.
to let go of any attempt to seem cool. That's the theme for a mindfulness dance party.
Is there a theme song for the mindfulness dance party?
Well, my go-to is always Robin
Huh.
dancing, dancing, dancing on my own.
Very nice. Very nice. I think I'm gonna go with "Don't Worry About a Thing" by Stevie Wonder. Folks have ideas of their own, please. Your mindfulness dance theme songs. Drop them in the chat. Let us know. Jess, I had a question about thinking about what we're trying to accomplish here. I wanted to ask you, when you first started meditating, when you first decided to start meditating, were there any outcomes that you thought would occur that later just turned out to be wildly inaccurate? That you're like, oh, I thought that's what this was about, but nope.
Uh, Kind of, yes. So maybe, I started meditating when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
I was 14. And definitely one of the motivations was because my mom would go on these retreats and come back and be just like so much more present and happy and sort of relaxed. Um, and I think the thought that came to mind for me is maybe I thought I would like be happy and have no stress or like drama in my mind if I meditated. And that has been not accurate.
But this is
It's,
interesting. So
yeah.
when your mom came back from these retreats, were you thinking, oh, no stress or drama in her mind?
Yeah, I mean the way that she was showing up, totally. It was
Wow.
really transformative. And then also like the adults who were on the teen meditation retreat seemed quite happy and relaxed, mostly. And like they had it all together. So maybe
Hmm.
something like I thought I would have it all together if I
Yeah.
meditated. Uh, and no, it's like it's so much, it's just so humbling. But that makes it like it's humbling and then it's like fine, it's okay that I don't have it together. But then also it's a lot more pleasant to be in my mind than it was. I mean, I was a teenager. It's hard to compare, but my mind is a lot more pleasant now than it was 30 years ago. So it did get better in that way, but kind of better because I don't worry about it not being together as much.
You've had a chance to teach teens on retreats as a teacher now, and I'm curious. Do you think that they think that you have it all together? Do you try to?
Yeah, I think some of them do. And I always forget. I have to remind myself that they think that. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I, I was thinking about this myself because my situation is a little bit weird because I started meditating uh not because I had any actual interest in meditating, but because I was hired to support this mindfulness program. And so I was actually a mindfulness professional before I was a mindfulness practitioner, which I don't think is usually the way that people go about it, at least not these days. And so I had no preconceived notions about it. It was like I was opening up a can of food in the bomb shelter that the peel had come off. And it was like, I don't know what's going to be in this can. Might be peaches, might be dog food. We're just going to find out. And so far, it's been pretty good.
Peaches.
It's been peaches. Jess, you know what we're doing here? We're answering viewer questions.
Yeah. So actually, can we say so just a
Oh,
couple things to orient people?
oh yes.
People
Thank you.
can put can they make comments in the chat?
They can. And Jess, no, thank you for saying that. We would
Yeah.
encourage people questions, comments, things that you thought were going to happen when you started meditating that didn't, or things that did happen that you didn't know were going to. Anything you like. We will be monitoring the chat throughout.
And then also if you have questions, you can email us
Mm,
or you could put them in the chat and we'll track those for future possible questions.
that is
So
correct. Yes.
feel
We will,
free to participate in that way, even though we can't see your faces. Yeah.
we know you're there. We can feel your faces. All right, Jess. Here we go.
Which reminds me of the song. What's that one? I can't feel my face. What's that dance song?
That's that's our new mindfulness dance party theme song. I can't feel my face. Your face? I can't feel your face. Dear John and Jess, it seems that wow, I get my reading glasses on. It seems that every day I read about some new benefit related to meditating, like improved sleep, reduce stress. It's even supposed to lower blood pressure. This stuff really sets off my too good to be true alarm. How can one thing really have so many different benefits? How does that even work? Jess, I think that's one for you. How does this work?
Yeah. Well, I think uh let's say there's a few pieces that I want to say about this. One is that it depends on what you're practicing. So different kinds of meditation practices have different results. It really is great to think about the metaphor of exercise. Like if you just go running, you're not necessarily going to get stronger biceps, right? Or if you just, I don't know, lift weights. I don't really know enough about this. You're not going to get your cardio better, your heart rate. Okay, right?
Mhm.
Something like so there's so many different kinds of meditation. You can do meditation that's going to deepen your concentration and your tranquility. You can do meditation that's going to build pro-social like compassion, kindness, generosity. joy. You can do meditation that's mindfulness meditation, which is deepening self-awareness, like self-understanding. What are my thoughts? What are my emotions? How do I feel in my body? So that's one thing. And the different kinds of meditation have different benefits and results for people to keep in mind. So that's one aspect of it. It's a little tough to get that, but you see the research and you don't know exactly like, well, what kind of meditation were they doing in that case? And then the other thing is that it is really, again, we'll come back to this workout metaphor. Like it's really helpful to have a teacher, a trainer who's going to like see if your form's off. So like you actually are going to like tweak your knee if you keep running like that, or if you lift in that way, you're not going to actually build the muscles in the right way, or like that kind of thing. So also having some real live guidance on your practice, someone that you can talk to about what's happening, can actually help you realize the benefits much more quickly than if you're totally doing it on your own, which I am so grateful. There's so much out there that people can use, but you might want to sometimes like come here and have a live chat or send a question and get some help with your practice.
Jess, you said a couple interesting things in there. Well, many interesting things, but a couple things that jumped out at me. One being, you mentioned mindfulness meditation is kind of a genre of meditation, which is interesting because I think a lot of us think about or use mindfulness synonymously with meditation. But can you maybe just tease that out a little bit? So mindfulness meditation is not meditation per se, but just more of a type of meditation.
Yeah, there's so many different kinds of meditation. And actually, I think I was 10 years into meditating before I really realized that. There's meditations where, so I'd say like, what is meditation? Meditation is like some kind of formal practice where you're putting your attention in a particular way in your internal experience. Maybe that's what we'll say. It's like putting your attention in a particular way. So there's meditations where you're developing concentration or focus. There's meditations where where you can be doing loving kindness or self-compassion, joy. You can use meditation to cultivate any kind of positive mind state. And then there's meditations where you're developing mindfulness. Coming back to that positive, like sometimes we inadvertently do meditations where we're cultivating negative mind states. Like you might think of like ruminating on some difficult situation as like a worry meditation. We're cultivating worry. So but we can just do the opposite with positive emotions. And then mindfulness meditation is using your attention to see what is happening right now. What is actually happening? What is a thought? What is it like to be in a human mind? What is my mind? Who am I? What's my emotion? What am I feeling right now? So that's me, but I can do that with you too. What is Jon? What is going on in Jon's mind? What might Jon be feeling right now? We call that external mindfulness. So it's internal and external mindfulness. And you can do that in a formal meditative way, like formal training, but you also can just practice being mindful throughout your day. Just checking in, like, and the more that we do the formal practice, the more that we are naturally inclined to notice, like, oh wow, I feel something's happening. I think I'm feeling sad right now. Or, oh wow, my mind is like going off, ruminating about this thing that's actually making me angry. Do I want to do that? Like, so mindfulness, and then also mindfulness can just be the simplicity of like eating your peaches and enjoying them, tasting the peach, enjoying the peach, feeling this right now, New England steamy, warm air and enjoying it, hearing birds.
Feeling the warmth of the disco ball, just circling.
Yeah. Feeling just the freedom and awkwardness of dancing in a group.
Just I think it's so interesting you bring up this idea that you can sort of accidentally or inadvertently be concentrating or meditating on negative mind states, maybe in a way that is not helpful. And this is, I think, supports your point that you really, or why it's so helpful to have a teacher there to sort of maybe point those things out if that's happening. I think again about your exercise metaphor, and maybe if maybe you're inadvertently just exercising your forearms and you just got like these really huge forearms now, and then you need the teacher to be like, you know what, maybe just do a little more full body stuff, not just one forearm.
Yeah, great. And And actually, says Elaine asked a really great question. I love this. She was saying, when I meditate, I'm trying to clear my mind. So that is like so classic. So many of us think that meditating means clearing your mind. And for the record, I've been meditating for pretty seriously for 37 years now, 33 years. And I've gone on many months of silent retreat, practiced a lot. When I meditate in the morning, my mind is not clear. Just, I don't know. I could be a failure at this. So maybe someone else is better. I mean, I have had meditative experiences when there's a lot of concentration. And so it's very settled in the mind. Like that can happen. I can concentrate and the mind can be quite settled. But that's a high bar to hold for ourselves. So the idea is like what we're trying to do is find some tranquility, some settledness. The mind does kind of settle, but it's more like not allowing yourself to get hooked in or bothered by whatever is in the mind. That's the bigger freedom, is to not believe the thoughts, not get pulled away by them. Okay, so that's the whole clear your mind thing. So if you are not clearing your mind, you're not failing unless we're failing together. And then the other thing is this question. I have to hear folks say, I need to meditate on that. So that I would say is like a colloquial use of that word, meditate on something. It's not that's not how I think about meditation. Because when you say that, that's like, I'm going to go think about something and like decide. And the meditation that I'm talking about is mostly you're not engaging in a lot of thinking. It's a much more of coming into the felt sense. It's at a different process level than thinking, if that makes sense.
Okay. Indeed. And actually, Jess, maybe this is maybe this is a good point to segue into some meditation practice. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay, beautiful.
Let's do it. So we'll just do a simple mindfulness. I'll do a little bit so I'll just orient you. We'll actually do a little bit of 3 kinds of meditation so you can get a little sense of it. We're going to start by cultivating the positive. So I'll just do a little invitation to bring to mind some gratitude. So that would be like that meditation of like brightening the mind, cultivating positive states. Then we'll do a little bit of the settling and focusing practice. And then just a few minutes of the mindfulness. So which is just paying attention to what's happening. And this is a great form of how to practice. You start by like uplifting your mind, brightening it with compassion, gratitude, joy, kind of massages the brain or something, fluffs the soil. And then you do a little settling. So there's some clarity of your mind so that then when we do the mindfulness, we can see more clearly. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. So, all right, so let's do it. So let's just settle in whatever posture you're in this moment. Key thing, there are ways to get formal about posture. Maybe someday we'll do that, but mostly we won't. So let's just settle wherever we are. You're sitting, standing, lying down. It's all fine. Even walking, you can meditate while moving. So wherever you are, I'm going to invite you to take a few deeper breaths. So taking those deep breaths, and as you do that, letting your attention move out of your thinking mind and into your body. It's like you let the sensations of the inhale draw your attention down and just feeling how the breath moves the chest or the belly. And then you can take a few long, full exhales, especially if you've had a stressful morning or if you notice any tension in your body. Really take a few long, slow, complete exhales. And as you do that, just allow your body to soften. Allowing the body to release and enjoying any feelings of ease that you might feel. And then you can let your breath just settle into its natural rhythm. And we'll bring in this uplifting, this meditation on a positive state. Just simply to uplift your mind, I just invite you to think about anything that you feel grateful for today. Anything you can feel grateful for today. Anything that's brought you joy or happiness. Maybe even just slight happiness. Just kind of scanning, thinking about your day or your week. And see if there's anything that you can just let your mind rest on and really take in a feeling of gratitude for that in your life. And notice how it feels in the body and mind, just to orient to gratitude for a few moments. Okay, and so with that as a laying of the ground, let's shift our attention to that more settling, focusing, concentration kind of practice. And so we'll just work with the breath. So you can just start to notice that you're breathing. You don't have to do anything to particular to your breath. Let's see if you can just allow your attention to be just kind of drawn in. Just drawn into the feeling of your breath. Maybe it's a feeling of the flow or the coolness and warmth of the breath. And just see if you can imagine that you're just being drawn in. And whenever your mind wanders, no problem, just gently invite it back. And just kind of drawn in. It's like really like as if you were like settling into a tub, if you like baths, that quality. Just settling into the breath, being drawn into the simplicity. And you're welcome to just enjoy that if that feels good, just to rest with the breath. This more focused practice. If you like to kind of expand the attention and practice a little bit of mindfulness meditation. For the last few minutes, it's almost imagine like you're widening the lens of your attention, your awareness. And you can just notice, how is your body feeling in this moment? And so the practice of mindfulness is just the direct sensate experience. No need to figure it out or no need to think about it, though you might think about it. You could just then notice, oh, I'm thinking. It's mindfulness. I'm thinking. You can also notice if there's any emotions present in your mind and body in this moment. Can also be mindful of the sounds around you. Let's expand our attention even wider. That aperture expands to the space around you, the sounds in the room. Just the simplicity of hearing the tone and vibration of the sounds. And then for the final part of the meditation, I invite you just to open your eyes, and you can practice being mindful of seeing color, texture. And then when you're ready, you can orient back to us, to the screen, to the room. Okay, thank you. The meditation doesn't have to end. You can still notice what's happening in this moment, the mindfulness. Yeah.
Jess, that was wonderful. Before we say anything else, I do just want to mention, so as Jess mentioned earlier, if there are any questions you'd like us to address in future episodes, you can email us at askmtm@point32health.org. And if you'd like to watch or listen to this session again, you can check out our YouTube page or our podcast feed. I'm going to drop a bunch of links into the chat right now, which you can follow, or if you're already experiencing this as a recording, then these same things will be in the show notes or the description. Jess, I love that you sort of eased us into that. I feel there was a sense, continue with the exercise analogy, as though we were sort of warming up, doing a little stretching before we really got into the more rigorous part of it. And I think it's great to remember that when we're meditating, it's not like we're not meditating and now we're meditating. It's more of it's almost like you're entering into a garden and you're just kind of wandering the paths, or you are experiencing different parts of the garden. And I think that's the way I like to meditate. And I think it was a great way to lead folks today.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. I like that metaphor. Yeah.
Just Christina in the chat asked, can you train your brain through mindfulness to handle physical pain? And I want to ask you, that might be something we should cover in a upcoming episode. But is there any sort of initial hits you wanted to respond to that with, or?
Yeah, I would just say yes, absolutely. There's some specific ways we can work with pain, and it's my understanding has been research that it's even more effective than many of the most intense painkillers to practice with meditation. So we'll take that question and we'll take a session to focus on it, and I'll guide a practice around that. Yeah. Thank you, Christina.
Jess, I'm going to close this out there. So we will be back next Tuesday and every Tuesday. Folks, if you are enjoying what you see here, please do go out and tell one person about it, or even two people if you like. These sessions, like all of our Living Well community programming, are free and open to everyone. So you can bring your community as you help us build community. Jess, any closing thoughts from you?
Oh, just thank you so much. It's really fun to be with you, Jon. It's really fun to see everyone in the chat, and we do have an idea to get together and let you be on Zoom too, so we can interact live too. Thank you so much for being here.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you again soon, folks.